You have to know your own attributes and purpose. Otherwise, someone will define that for you, and then you'll end up depressed and empty because these are attributes that someone else gave you that you think you have to live up to. And the bad thing about that is when that person is gone, now you have these attributes and you don't know who you are. I can't tell you how many people come out of relationships and they're like, I don't even know who I am. I got so lost in who he was. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Woman of Worth podcast. I am your host, Tanisha Burks. If you haven't already, please take time to like, subscribe, follow, share, rate, and review the podcast. I do have one correction to make. I said in the first episode that the podcast started in 2024. I had to go back and look because that year did not sit right with me. And the first podcast episode was in July of 2023. So this July in 2026, we will be 3 years old. Can I just say this is the longest I have ever done something? So if no one else is clapping for me, honey, I know how to look myself in the mirror and celebrate myself for the consistency. Anyways, let's jump into today's episode. We've been talking about dating with purpose, and the first two episodes were both about boundaries. This week, we're going to talk about knowing yourself. What does it mean to know yourself? Having a deep, objective understanding of your own emotions, motivations, strengths, weaknesses, and core values. Core values are important. If you don't have them, then someone else will give you those core values, and they might be things that you don't agree with. Like when you are dating someone, your core value. What are your core values on disciplining children? What are your core values of church? Do we share the same religion? So you got to make sure those core values, is family important to you? I don't like to be isolated from my family. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love some alone time. I do like being by myself, but then there comes times when I need to be with my family. I need to be with my people. So, what are those values? Those are things that you need to know before you go into a relationship so that you can talk about these things. Okay. And you can decipher from there if the relationship is going to work, or maybe this should just be a great friend. And I think a lot of times for us, when we're dating, the mistake that we make is someone that's supposed to be in the friend zone because we like them so much. We mistake that feeling of like for attraction. And it might not be attraction. It might just be you are supposed to be a friend to this person. And some of us marry a friend and try to make them a lifetime partner. It means you are free to be yourself. Listen, I'm a very strong woman. I need a stronger man. Okay? I can't be with somebody that's just going to let me run all over them. I need somebody that knows how to be strong, and I need flexibility. I need somebody that know how to handle me. Knowing yourself takes work. It requires you developing a relationship with yourself. How do you develop a relationship with yourself? You spend time alone getting to know yourself, getting to know things about you that you like and things about you that you don't like. Like there's times when I could just I get on my own nerves. When I was in school, here's a perfect example of me getting on my nerves. I was in school, and during the week, I would say, let me try to do all of this homework so that on the weekend I can relax and I don't do any homework. The weekend will come, and then I'll say, let me do this work so that I don't have as much work to do during the week. Y'all, the homework never stopped until I graduated. And I remember making a status on Facebook, and I was like, needless to say, I can't wait to graduate because I get on my own nerves. I do. I make myself sick. I really do. So that comes from me knowing myself. So now I know what people do that makes me it gets on my nerves because I do it and it makes me sick. Right? I'm looking at me right now. That's why this person is irritating me because it's me. When you know yourself, you can spot that and you could be honest about yourself. And one thing you always have to remember, people are mirrors to us. So when you see yourself mirrored in that other person and you see those things that you don't like, stop and think, do I get on my own nerves doing this? But that only comes for having a relationship with yourself, being honest with yourself and knowing yourself. No one is going to be more honest about you than you and God. To develop a relationship with yourself, you have to embrace the silence. And a lot of times, a lot of us like to keep it loud around us because we don't like the silence. But I've learned that sometimes when God has isolated us from people, that is not for our bad. It's just that things are too loud around us. And He's really speaking at a soft monotone level and we can't hear Him. And He's not going to try to overtalk everybody else that's in the atmosphere that's causing all this noise. He's not about to compete for attention. So what he does is he says, okay, let me take this person, let me put them alone so that they can hear me. But what happens when we get alone is we turn on things so that we can not hear God. That doesn't mean turn off this podcast. You better keep on listening. But what we do is we get alone and then we turn on the TV, we turn on the radio. We're not really spending that quiet time. We're never still. We always have to be moving. How many of us, when we have a day to relax, how many of us find something to do because we feel unproductive? Okay. And a lot of times God is saying, be still. You know that scripture where He says, be still and know that I'm God. The thing about that is we know that He is God, but we're not being still. What we need to learn, people of God, is to be still. That means stop. That means stop trying to figure things out. That means stop trying to put your hands in situations that God wants to have control over so that you don't have to worry. Let me tell y'all the mistake I made and getting to know myself. I found out I'm a great person to be around. I have the little things that get on my nerves, but I really enjoy being by myself. So there is a balance. I don't want you to get like I did where I was just too into being by myself. And so during that alone time, I just really started enjoying my own company. So one of the things you have to do is you really do have to date yourself. This means taking yourself out to eat. Don't just go in a restaurant and buy food and then leave. Go in the restaurant, sit down at the table and eat by yourself. If you feel like it's weird, take a laptop or a book with you or a journal. You know what I'm saying? And then, honestly, ladies, you can meet a man there. So don't be afraid to go by yourself. You might meet somebody that looks and see you by yourself and say, hey, are you waiting for someone? Is it okay if I sit down? Do you want to be? Hopefully he asks you, do you want to be by yourself before he just sits down? And you just never know who you might meet when you date yourself, but you have that confidence. You're not embarrassed. You're enjoying a meal. You're enjoying quiet time. You're enjoying that book. You're on your laptop doing whatever, writing the paper, studying homework. Go in Starbucks by yourself. Take yourself out. Go to the movies by yourself. Listen, the movies by yourself is one of the best experiences. Unfortunately, that's probably why I don't want anybody taking me on a date to the movies, because I like to do that by myself. I really do that. It's my time to really focus on a movie and I don't have anybody talking to me. If you don't enjoy your own company, ladies, gentlemen, if you're listening, if you don't enjoy your own company, how can you expect someone else to enjoy your company? See, you can tell somebody I'm fun because you've had fun with yourself. Now we're going to talk about the 7 I am claims of Jesus. I'm just going to mention them. I'm not going to have a deep discussion of all of them, but you can find these 7 I am claims. They're actually are they all in the book of John? Yes, they are all in the book of John. And this is what I was talking about last week, where you can't just know yourself like, I'm a mother, I work at Applebee's, um I go to whatever church I go to, I'm a Christian, I'm a minister, I'm a auntie, a daughter. uh those are titles, those are characteristics of yourself that you kind of have to perform for somebody else, right? Jesus, his characteristics define who he is and why people are drawn to him. And he wasn't these things because people wanted him or needed him to be. He was these things because that's who he is. Those are your characteristics and attributes that I'm talking about here. So the 7 I am claims of Jesus, the first one is in John 6, 3 and 5, 6 and 35. And he says, I am the bread of the life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. So when I think about bread, I think about when Jesus fed the 5,000 men, aside from women and children. He fed them with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And the first thing that I could think of is that Jesus was giving him himself. He was giving them himself. He was feeding them himself. He is the bread. When we take communion, his body, that is the bread, right? And the grape juice, or some people drink wine, is his blood, represents his blood. So what Jesus was doing was he was instituting communion at that time. He was breaking bread, showing that he was the bread, because it was only 2 fish and 5 loaves. So guess what? The bread of life had to be bread for the hungry people that were in the crowd. I'm not going to get into all of that. Let me keep on moving on. John 8 and 12, Jesus spake again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. What does that mean? Simply, it just means that he is the light. Even in those dark times, you have a light. Even when things feel heavy, you have a light. He is the light. Go to him, seek him, find him. And as a matter of fact, he's the light that never stops shining. He's the light in the power outage. He's the light. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. The third I am, John 10 and 7. Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you that I am the door of the sheep. Listen, I do have to explain this. One of the things that the shepherds did for the sheep, because there were no doors, and the shepherds had to protect the sheep from wolves and other predators and probably other people and other shepherds. So one of the things that the shepherds would do is they would sleep in front of the door to protect the sheep from the predators. So even though they were asleep, they were still able to get up when they were awakened. The one thing about Jesus being the door of the sheep is that Jesus never sleeps and he never slumbers, right? So he's our door. He's our protection. He's our barrier. He can either let things in and he can let them out. But whatever it is, he is the door. I'm going to have to do a more deeper discussion of this. John 10:11. This is another one. Is my favorite one. I am the good shepherd. Woo! The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. So in those cases where someone came to attack, or a predator came to attack, that shepherd was willingly giving his life by fighting and protecting those sheep, just like Jesus gave his life for us when he died on Calvary, and he bled, and he was nailed to the cross, and he had the crown of thorns on his head, and he was whipped and beaten. He gave his life for us because he's the good shepherd, and he's watching over us. He's protecting us from every predator. Number 5, John 11:25. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Number 6, John 14:6. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. In order to get to the Father, you got to go through the Son. And then 7 is John 15:1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. So these are things that don't just describe him simply as the things that he does. These are the things that he is. He's our door. He's our light. He's our way. He's the truth. He's the shepherd. All the wonderful things that we need. He is. And it just reminds me of in Exodus when God told Moses to say, tell them I am that I am sent you. I am. I'm whatever you need me to be. And these statements kind of got Jesus in trouble because the Pharisees thought that Jesus was proclaiming to be God, which he is, but they were offended by that, because God said, I am. And now here comes Jesus saying, I am. So they were mad because Jesus was portraying himself to be God, which we all know that he is. I advise you, if you haven't, to watch The Chosen. It's on Prime, and it is also an app that you can watch it for free. The Chosen is the story of Jesus, the ministry of Jesus. It is an awesome, awesome, awesome series. I can't tell you how many times I cried watching that. Just seeing and hearing the stories in action that we read about Jesus and his portrayal of the character, the guy that played him, just the words, it brought tears to my eyes. Okay. So you have to know your own attributes and purpose. Otherwise, someone will define that for you, and then you'll end up depressed and empty because these are attributes that someone else gave you that you think you have to live up to. And the bad thing about that is when that person is gone, now you have these attributes and you don't know who you are. I can't tell you how many people come out of relationships and they're like, I don't even know who I am. I got so lost in who he was. And I want to tell you this, a man that is for you, he's going to make sure that you always remember who you are, that you don't lose any part of yourself. And he's going to nurture and embrace those parts of you that are not like him, because that's why he's with you. He wants something that's not like him, supposedly, right? So he's going to embrace that, and he's going to always remind you to keep going, to keep growing. He's not going to get you to the place where you're like, well, everything just became about him and I don't know who I am. That's not a God man. He might be a good man, but that's not a God man. Okay. So why is this man attracted to you? You define what he's attracted to. If you let him define it, you'll be trying to hold on to that thing that attracted him to you when it's time to let go. Like for instance, your butt. So now, because he was attracted to your butt and the butt's kind of getting flabby, so now instead of going to the gym and doing squats, we running out and getting botches, BBLs. He's attracted to your breasts, so now they're sagging, and now you're going to get breast implants because you're trying to keep his attention. So you got to be yourself and not the man's definition of attraction. Be confident in who you are, and that is actually sexy to a man. A man finds that sexy when you're confident in who you are, whether you're 300 pounds or 150. And that's why you can see women that are 350 pounds with a bodybuilder that look good. And you wondering, like, how she get him? Because she's confident. She knows her worth. She's confident. Ladies, you should never ask a man why he's attracted to you. Those are things that you should already know. Oh, I know why you're attracted to me. Besides the fact that I'm beautiful, I have a good heart. But besides that, besides the fact that I take care of myself and I work out and I'm healthy, I'm also trustworthy. I'm a place of trust. I'm a place of comfort. I am comfort. I am trust. I am statements. Okay. You make you some I am statements this week. What are you? Like Jesus said, I am the way, I am the door, I am the good shepherd. What are you? What is your I am statements? Make them. Come up with 6. So a man shouldn't just be attracted to your body, because that body changing. Beauty is vain. That's scripture. That body's change. It's gonna go through some changes. It's not gonna always be high and lifted up. Okay. A man should be attracted to your virtue, not your body. Don't ever confuse sex with virtue. A man that just wants to sleep with you has not looked into you, but he only looked at you. So a man that's coming in and the first thing he's doing is trying to get down and dirty in the bedroom, he don't care about you. He hasn't looked into your heart. He hasn't looked into those eyes to figure out what's behind them. The only thing he's done is look at your body and said, I want her. And he should be a little bit shy to approach you because he want to make sure he's doing it right. And he may want to sleep with you. I'm not saying that's not in the back of their head, but at the end of the day, he also wants to get to know you. But if the first thing he's doing is going to the bedroom, he don't like you and he don't want to get to know you. He just wants to sleep with you. And if you do that, I think you can expect a pretty big mess to follow that. So that's why I say, keep your legs closed and your heart open. When a man values you, he doesn't just want to sleep with you, but he wants to take his time and he wants to extract virtue from you. Okay? He wants that virtuous woman. That's what he wants. So he can safely trust in her with his heart. He can't trust you with his heart if the first thing you gave him is your body. You gave him the most valuable part of you. You think he about to give you his heart? Oh, okay. Let's see how that works. In conclusion, man that takes his time with you is a man that sees and values all of you. He doesn't have to rush to see what you feel like inside because he values your heart and he's covering your integrity. Oh, that's so important. Cover my integrity. Don't have me out here looking stupid. Cover me. Cover me. These are the men we should fall in love with, not the man that only knows how to work his hips and has no virtue within himself. Because while he's working his hips, he's probably thinking of the next set of hips that he'll be working when he's done with yours. When he's done using you all up and he has some other set of hips that he wants to get in, that's what he's going to be thinking about, not you. Know yourselves. You're not just a toy he can buy in a store. You're a woman of honor, a woman who deserves respect, and you are a woman of worth. Always remember that. Know yourself. Date yourself. Take yourself on a date. Write your I am statements. Send them to me in an email. womanofworthpodcast@gmail.com. I want to see your I am statements. And I'm going to make some and I'm going to share them with you. I will see you guys next week. We will be talking about defining what you want, which is the fruits of the spirit. And and then the last episode for the dating with purpose will be, how do I forget the title? Data collection. So I will see you ladies next week. You guys have a great week and be blessed.